Protect your online privacy today at expressvpn.com/inside.
Hey everybody, and welcome back to Inside Gaming Daily. For Wednesday, it's Hump Day, and today, Patrick is humping for Call of Duty Tactical. Maybe Brian can get something going? Oh, yeah.
You're welcome.
Good.
I wish I had my firearm at the ready.
You do look like an oath keeper.
Yeah. Yes, the franchise that dares to ask, can one game be over 200 gigs on a console? And the answer, drumroll please.
Yes, we can.
The reboot of Modern Warfare has proven to be very popular and very large, but we're not
Just
here
like
to
me.
talk about file sizes.
If you're under 200 pounds, you can't say that. So that's me, baby.
I wasn't talking about my body.
Talk about what, your hog? Your Harley?
It's my big
Oh.
No, we are here to talk about the next Call of Duty game because the show must go on, and one of the great truths in the universe is that we will get a Call of Duty game every year. Pandemic be damned, come hell or high water.
Is your 200 pounds? All right, so this news first came from the well-known Call of Duty leaker Okami. Who
Well
has been...
known. We all know this.
Yeah, we all, yeah.
Need I even say it? Okami, who has been right about Call of Duty news in the past.
Yesterday, the well-known Okami tweeted a mock-up of the first Black Ops cover art, but underneath Call of Duty Black Ops, they added Cold War. Okay, but that's just one person. That's just Okami, the well-known, who we all know, leaker. But luckily, we got some more confirmation this leak was, in fact, true, and it came from those crafty Europeans.
So this morning, Eurogamer posted a story saying that they'd confirmed with their own sources that the next game would be called Black Ops Cold War. Activision did not comment when contacted by Eurogamer, but it's not uncommon for the name of a new Call of Duty to leak. It actually happens pretty much every year.
Meanwhile, it seems like they're hiding teases to the new game inside Call of Duty Warzone, the Battle Royale component of last year's Modern Warfare. It's weird, like you have to install the whole game, right? That's why the file size is so big.
I think it's 90 gigs just for Warzone.
There are a series of locked bunkers in the game, and of course, data miners figured out a way to peer behind the walls. They used a drone. The YouTubers Geek Gaming Squad found a nuclear warhead in one. And of course, nuclear warfare, big part of the Cold War. It was pretty much what it all was about.
Another data miner found a file for the U-2 spy plane, which also figures very prominently into Cold War history. Hello. Yeah, there was an international incident in 1960 when Soviet Russia shot down an American U-2 spy plane and captured the pilot.
So it looks like all the signs are pointing to Black Ops going back to the Cold War. And for developer Treyarch, this is a return to their roots, because you might remember that the first Black Ops game was also set during the Cold War, during the 1960s.
But yeah, the first Black Ops told a secret history of CIA operations that were carried out behind enemy lines. You did missions in Cuba, South Vietnam, Siberia, and the campaign involved an experimental chemical weapon codenamed Nova 6. So that was a lot of fun. Then, of course, there are many sequels that were set in the future, but Eurogamer says that the next Call of Duty is going to be kind of a soft reboot for Black Ops, similar to last year's Modern Warfare.
All right.
Okay,
Boy,
cool.
don't cheer all at once, fellas. Jeez. If the Call of Duty operators don't have large anime hair and giant swords, I'm just kind of out.
I understand.
No, that's the hard reboot.
And the new Modern Warfare was a big success, so it makes sense that they'd want to try to do another reboot, but the Cold War lasted a span of decades, from the end of World War II to the collapse of the Soviet Union in the early 90s. Maybe we'll be getting an 80s Black Ops?
Yes. I'm sorry if y'all missed communist Russia in the 80s, but like it made the Olympics way more fun.
I know, I
because
wish.
we could argue about like our ice skaters getting screwed, and it was the best.
I've seen Miracle.
That's the same,
yeah.
same thing.
That's good. Yeah, absolutely.
I was alive when it came, when the Soviet Union collapsed, when the
I've
Berlin
never
Wall came
been more
down.
alive.
So yeah, maybe we'll be getting an 80s Black Ops. If Mr. Gorbachev, tear down these noobs.
Of course, it's always been a safe bet that we were going to get a new Call of Duty game this year. After all, they've been putting out a game every year since the beginning of time, aka 2005. We'd already heard, though, that Treyarch was working on a new Black Ops game for 2020. Guess what? It's true. They were right. right.
You heard it here first.
A day after Kotaku reported.
Didn't they just make Black Ops 4 2 years ago? So now they're making another game.
Yes.
Seems brief.
I get the discrepancy because usually the studios get 3 years between games because Activision, they typically rotate the franchise between Treyarch, Infinity Ward, and Sledgehammer, but Treyarch was reportedly tapped to make a new game on short notice after there was some behind the scenes heat, some friction between Sledgehammer and newcomer Raven.
There was some turnover at Sledgehammer with its co-founders leaving the studio a few years ago, and they were set to develop the 2020 Call of Duty alongside the Wisconsin-based studio Raven. There's a Wisconsin-based game studio?
They're getting into the Cold War mindset.
And they work with Activision?
But that was apparently a huge mess. Kotaku reported last year there were frequent arguments behind the scenes between Raven and Sledgehammer staffers, so the decision was made to hand the franchise back to Treyarch after just 2 years because they did not have a strong opinion about pop punk, apparently.
Raven was reported as being upset Sledgehammer had brought Yoko Ono Productions in.
Poor Treyarch. Thanks for making Black Ops 4. Now make another one. The new Black Ops game comes after the Call of Duty franchise had been slipping in recent years, but experienced a bit of a bounce back with Modern Warfare, so if we take a look at sales numbers for the franchise, it's clear that its best days were back in 2010 to 2015.
Yeah, the high watermark was actually the first Black Ops in 2010 that sold more than 30 million copies, followed closely by Modern Warfare 3 in 2011. But the series still sells millions of copies, but recent games have not done quite as well.
No, recently Call of Duty World War II sold less than 20 million in 2017, and Infinite Warfare was disliked by a significant number of people, and the most recent Black Ops was considered a bit of a disappointment by Activision sales-wise. Yeah, they were in a slump for a while. I mean, public opinion-wise.
I think they've just been around for so long, it's like goes up and down for them. And,
oh yeah,
you know.
They're gonna be rebooting both Modern Warfare and Black Ops 4 again in another decade.
It's like the Madden of first-person shooters.
Exactly.
Basically.
Yeah.
And consistency's nice. People complain about being a new Call of Duty every year, and it's like, shut up. Play whatever games you want. I don't play them, and I'm not upset about it.
They have fun campaigns sometimes.
Yeah,
That's what I've heard.
From
And
what I
they're
remember.
short.
I mean, the last one I played was Modern Warfare 2, but
It's just like, I don't get the Activision putting out another Call of Duty.
Yeah.
Yes, that's what Activision
They've
does.
done it. Yeah, they've done it for 15 years.
yeah, that's the place. That's the space they occupy.
But yeah, Black Ops 4 didn't sell as well as Activision wanted. It got some criticism for not having a campaign mode, just a lot of multiplayer. Definitely a modern game, but these are the definition of big budget AAA games, and so they have to sell really well to make money.
just to give you an idea of the production cost of these games, Modern Warfare 2 cost $200 million to make and market. That was back in 2009.
Dang.
Yeah, it's safe to say that costs have gone up just a bit since then.
Yeah, you can think of Call of Duty games like a big budget Hollywood summer blockbuster.
They're the Transformers movies of video games.
Right.
Meanwhile, last year's soft reboot of Modern Warfare did win a lot of accolades, kind of turned things around. Activision, they don't release hard sales numbers anymore, but they said earlier this month that Modern Warfare has sold more copies and has more players online than any previous entry in the Call of Duty franchise during the same time frame. That's heavily qualified, but I think that means it did well.
They also said in December that Modern Warfare has made more than $1 billion in revenue. That's a lot of cosmetics. They have loot boxes. Activision Executive Vice President Byron Bede said the momentum for Modern Warfare from day one has been incredible.
Then he flew away on his helicopter.
Yeah.
It was attached to his hat.
The Inspector Gadget handles.
Yes, yes. My fantabulous, wonderful flying mechanicalism.
Goodbye, Penny. Don't tell your parents about me.
Whatever you do.
In some countries, the age of consent is...
Okay, that's... Went right there.
So again, you can see why they'd want to follow that reboot model for the next Black Ops game. And again, Activision hasn't commented on this leak, but at this point, it's a pretty safe bet that Black Ops is going to have a Cold War reboot. Speaking of Cold War, did they ever make a Red Dawn, like a Red Dawn game in like 2012 or something?
They made that movie with, I think, Josh Peck and Liam.
Yeah, that was bad. That was really bad. There's one called Initiative Red Dawn, which looks like a mobile app.
Is Mobile Strike the one that Arnold was the spokesman for.
Download and play now, free from the App Store.
He's
Oh,
like,
right.
play Mobile Strike.
Don't play my game. Remember when he fathered a child by his housekeeper and like kept that quiet for years?
Yeah.
But then he came out with it, and
Yeah.
everyone was pretty much just fine with it. How can I stay mad? And now he's just got those quarantine videos with that donkey and small horse.
Come on. See, the important thing is that you stay at home.
Mobile Strike. Download and play now, free from the App Store.
It's no secret that games are getting bigger and bigger these days. I'm not just talking about the scope of the modern AAA game. I'm actually talking about the actual file sizes. They are massive, and the latest offender, Call of Duty Modern Warfare, may have gone too far with a lot of players. As GameSpot pointed out, the reboot that came out last year